I read this wonderful quote from Brianna Weist. The universe whispers until it screams, and happy people listen when the call is quiet. Let me tell you, I have not been listening while the call is quiet. Whether it came to drinking, oh my god, I'm having so much fun! Stop drinking. I can't hear you! Who wants to do shots? Or seeking fulfillment in another human being. So I'm polyamorous. Is it gonna be an issue if I date other people while we're together? Stop dating. No, not an issue at all. And if it's okay with you, I'm still gonna be monogamous because I believe in committing to one disappointment at a time. So I have pretty much waited until the universe is shrieking through a megaphone to really heed its call. And if Brianna isn't enough of a name drop to convince you of this, Oprah has also basically stated the same thing.
The universe speaks to us always. First, in whispers. And a whisper usually in your life feels like, that's odd. That doesn't make any sense. Is that right? It just really feels like that. It's that kind of subtle. If you don't pay attention to the whisper, it gets louder and louder and louder. And I say, it's like getting thumped upside the head. You don't pay attention to that. It's like getting a brick upside your head. You don't pay attention to that, the brick wall falls down. What are the whispers? What's whispering to you now? And can you catch it in the whisper?
The big whispers that became screams moment for me is really my relationship to alcohol. So I did a year of sobriety in 2018 because I went from sending texts that I deeply regret, aka the whispers, to having to check my own Instagram story to see what I did the night before, the scream. You know, I was drinking full bottles of wine by myself at home, like not good, right? Like troubling behavior. And in therapy, I realized I'm not an alcoholic, but I definitely have alcohol abuse disorder. So I basically sought to self-medicate when I was in distress. My main coping mechanisms are emotional disassociation and suppression. And because alcohol affects your prefrontal cortex first, the very part of your brain responsible for judgment, reasoning, and suppressing impulsive behavior, the moment I got drunk, all of those deep feelings that I was suppressing when I was sober came pouring out. At the end of 2019, I decided I would try drinking again, but have boundaries around it and create like this more healthy, structured relationship to alcohol. One of my main rules was that I would not drink when I was going through a hard time. Then 2020 hit, and excessive drinking in the United States increased by 21%. And guess who was one of those 21%? So the whispers began, and over the last 2 years, they have escalated to like banshee shrieking. It was so bad, you guys. Like I was going through so much intense stuff emotionally and personally. So when I was drinking, it was like I was parkouring onto balconies, blackout drunk. Very unsafe, do not recommend. But the moment I actually decided to give up drinking, was funny enough on St. Patty's Day. So I had this miscommunication with this random girl at a bar, and I'd had so much anger that day about something completely unrelated that I was suppressing when sober. So as I started drinking, the alcohol really allowed my anger to come out. And I was like, ready to fight this girl. I was drunk. I was like, I'm gonna knock this girl out. And it like consumed my brain for like 2 hours. Luckily, I went over and I talked to her first and I resolved the perceived conflict that we had. There was no conflict. It was a drunk misunderstanding. And thank God, because I am a trained martial artist. My dad is in the military. I am his eldest daughter. So I have been a little lethal weapon for as long as I can remember. I know countless ways to really mess up a person. And if I had hurt this girl, if I had hurt anyone really, I would never forgive myself. So the next morning I was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. I'm listening to the scream because if I don't, God knows what the brick wall falling down looks like. So I'd encourage you to really examine what is whispering to you now. Is it an impulse to quit your job, change your career, leave your relationship, relocate to a different city? Or is it something more simple like, hey, you need to start taking care of your body. You need to call this friend you haven't talked to in a long time. Or like me, is it around alcohol or another substance like weed? You know, we all have an inner voice, an inner knowing, and honoring that starts with removing everything we've put in between us and the answers. All the noise, the chaos, and bullshit. So start now, before the universe goes off and you are parkouring balconies. I'm Anna Akana. Thank you to the patrons who supported today's episode, and thank you, of course, to my father, my daddy, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are not familiar with my father yet, I don't know where you've been, but Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build a gorgeous website, sell your products, and engage with your audience. If you're like me and you don't know anything about how to code, Squarespace is perfect. They have beautiful and professional website templates that you use as a starting point, and then you can customize those to your specific brand and aesthetic. It looks so sophisticated and sleek, but on the back end for us, it's drag and drop and easy and intuitive to build. And also, it's just as simple to keep it updated. You can also create an online store and then sell custom merch. So for me, that's my online guidebook about how I do my inner work and accomplish my goals. But for you, that may look like physical products, services, classes. But whatever it is, like, the creator economy is booming, and we're all here to have a livelihood doing what we're passionate about. You can head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And whenever you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Anna and use code Anna for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.